Hi everyone, welcome to another maths video by Maths with Sarah. So today we're going to be having a look at this rather challenging GCSE maths question. So we've been given the information that y is inversely proportional to the square root of x. We've been given a couple of values for x and y, and we've been given two parts of the question. The first part is to write an equation connecting y and x. And then to work out the value of y given a value of x. So this question is from paper 2, so you are allowed to use a calculator. It's from GCSE Maths paper. It's question 21, so reasonably close to the end of the paper. I reckon it's probably a grade 7, grade 8 question, so it's not really, it's not your A-star grade 9 question. So I reckon most people will be able to have an attempt at this, but it is definitely a challenging question. So with all of these videos, I encourage you to pause the video, have to think about how you would tackle this question. Even if you can't fully do it, think about maybe the first steps, what you need to write down, all the information that you can, the various topics you might need to solve this question, anything you can think of that might be relevant. If you're really stuck, don't worry, I'm going to go through it. I'm going to go through it step by step. So yeah, I encourage you to have a look at this by yourself, pause the video, and then come back once you've had a little go. Okay, so how will we tackle this question? We've been given the information that y is inversely proportional to the square root of x. So inversely proportional is the same as y, and then with this little fish type symbol, which means proportional to. And because we know that it's inversely proportional, we know that it's proportional to 1 over the square root of x. So I realised that was quite a lot of information all in one there. So we've got y is proportional, and then because it's inverse, we know that it needs to be 1 over, because that's what inverse means, is 1 divided by whatever we've got for x. We know that it's the square root of x. Now, what we need to then work out, this isn't an equation at the moment because all we know is it's proportional. So what we can say is that this is therefore equal to, so y is equal to something, and we don't know what at this point, so we're going to call it k, because that's typically what we use in maths. It's just a constant, any value, something that we don't know at the moment, times by this 1 over root x. So instead we can just call that k over the square root of x. Okay. So the next step to figure this out, we need to work out a value of k. We can't just leave it there because this wouldn't help us to work out what the answer is, what the equation or what the value is. We've just got too many unknowns. So in order to work out the value of k, what we do is substitute in these values for y and for x, and then hopefully that will all untangle and we'll be able to figure out what k equals. So if we do that, we end up with 4 is equal to k over square root of 9. So hopefully you're aware that square root of 9 is 3. So we've got 4, let's go back up here, we've got 4 is equal to k divided by 3. If we now multiply both sides by 3, we end up with 12 is equal to k. Not too bad at this point. Hopefully you followed this. I think this is the initial, these two first steps are by far the hardest because it's remembering how to do inverse proportion and then remembering how to put k in and then figuring out k. So if we can then write an equation, the first part of this is to write an equation. We have got y is equal to, substitute 12 in where k is, 12 divided by the square root of x. So this is our equation. And then it's basically asked us to use that equation to work out the value of y given a value of x. So if we're going to do that, we need to have y is equal to 12 divided by the square root. We've been given x equals 25. So the square root of 25. So if we work that out, we've got 12 on the top, and then this is square root of 25 is just 5. And we've got a fraction here. We've got 12 over 5 as the fraction. If we wanted to put that as a decimal, that's the same as 2.4. So The problem with this question is that while the second part of the question is actually reasonably straightforward because you're just plugging values in, you've got to get the equation in the first place, which is what makes this such a challenging question. You can't just get to B without having worked out what the equation is. So as I said before, I definitely think that it's these first two steps over here that are the ones that really make this a challenging question, rather than, you've got inverse proportion. Just makes it a little bit more difficult. So hopefully you've been able to follow that. I think I've broken it down as much as I can. And the most important bits are your proportion, your inverse proportional, meaning 1 over, and then remembering that you need to, essentially proportion means that it's k times whatever it's proportion to. So then you can use that to work out what your value of k is, and then you can use that to work out the equation and then to solve it for any values of x or y. So hopefully that's helped. I've got loads of videos on these sorts of algebra, ratio, proportional questions. So if you do have any, if you're struggling with this, I recommend you check out those videos. They are all linked into this video. So just have a look at the ones that I've tagged, the ones that I think are most relevant. I've got another challenge question coming next week. I think next week's is looking at surds. So if you're struggling with surds, I recommend that you subscribe to this channel, and hopefully I'll see you in the next video. Thank you for watching.